Namaste, everyone. This is Adarsh Anand on the other side. Thank you for being present. Today, we are here at the program organized by Hindustan Republican Global. Hindustan Republican is a global movement aimed at preservation of the heritage of the Krantikaris and the IN, along with bringing and promoting retired army personnel into public leadership opportunities inclusive of political roles. Historically, Hindustan Republican Association, HRA, as we know, was founded by Krantikari Pandit Ram Prasad Bishmal and operationalized by Sri Sachindranath Saner at Varanasi. So today, we are here for the talk titled Subhash Chandra Bose, the Intelligence Kingpin and his M organization. Today, we have with us the guest of today's program, Saikat Niyogiji, who is the author of the book titled Netaji's Secret Service, The History of M Organization. Saket Niyogiji is a researcher primarily focused on finding out the historical facts about the freedom struggle, political history of British colonial era, and the progressive days after independence. Focused in figuring out the achievable documents lying at various universities and archives in UK, which are predominantly significant to rewrite the nationalist history of Indian revolutionaries. Amebrata Dasgupta ji was also supposed to be present here, but due to some reason he could not be present. So he was a researcher, he was a writer, and he's a writer and a researcher, author of several books on the role of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in India's freedom struggle. Before handling today's platform to Saikat ji, I need to give some guidelines to the audience. Keep kindly mute your audios. Kindly, audience, I request everyone to mute their respective audios so that we can't have any difficulty while talking. And the second thing is we will be allowing our audience to ask questions. We will be so we will allow our audience to ask questions. So after the speech is complete, then you can either ask their question. So you can either type the questions or directly ask to Saikat Niyogiji. So let me hand over the platform to Saikat Niyogiji. Welcome, Saikat ji.
Hello everyone. Thank you, others. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank Hindustan Republican Global for taking this wonderful initiative to traverse through the glorious past that we have, both in our revolutionary heritage and also the cultural heritage that we as a country, India, we carry with us. So yeah, it's it's a couple of days back that we got connected, and I'm like very much like glad like I got this opportunity. So I have been working on Subhash Chandra Bose primarily, and like after that, it's not like Subhash Chandra Bose is a like particular um, leader. Okay, it's about a global phenomena that had happened during those tumultuous years of the Second World War. Okay, and we all know, by that time, 19 in the end of 1930s, it was like global crisis that the entire world was facing. From the ideological perspective, from the philosophical perspective, there was a global crisis, and there were clash of the titans, right? So in such a global platform, one leader, as I mean, from India, the way he came out of the clutches of these Anglo-Americans and also the British here in India, and he represented India in Second World War. So it was not like just us like out of nowhere something happened. Okay, it had a long history, both political and also revolutionary. Okay, I do separate these two words, political and revolutionary, because in India, mostly the platform by that time, the National Congress, that was the political platform against the British bondage. Okay, and the revolutionaries, maybe like they were not having that much of financial backup in the initial days, so they, well, although they had great ideas, there were several attempts made to get help from the foreign countries for India's freedom, and the entire the situation was quite good for a revolution to happen in India, but it actually didn't happen because, as we all know, unfortunately, our motherland had gave birth to so many the valor of the revolutionaries. It was like something that we still cherish, but along with that there were lots and lots of traitors who basically leaked the intelligence information. And that's why, even though India had quite a good aspect to showcase a revolution in the entire world, it actually couldn't happen. Okay, so Subhash Chandra Bose, from the if we see in the Second World War, there are many discussions being happening. I mean, in several platforms regarding Azad Hind and the way Azad Hind, the government, and also the Azad Hind, INA, Indian National Army, has fought against the Allied powers, right? They fought hand in hand with the Japanese and confronted the Allied powers. But from the as an intelligence organization, Subhash Chandra Bose was basically having an anonymous organization with him, and this organization had basically two fronts. One that was regarded as the home front, and the revolutionaries inside India, they used to, especially in Bengal, they used to use this term as the home front, Netaji's home front. Okay, and another aspect, another part was the part of this intelligence organization that operated mostly in Europe. Okay, and it basically infiltrated the enemy territories and the enemy countries. Okay, and as we all know, like a particular intelligence organization, they face the most risk, and they had to operate in the enemy territories because they used to take camouflages, right? So this organization is known as M organization, and this name M was not something that Subhash Chandra Bose had named it. It is the OSS, Office of Strategic Service. As you know, like it's the forerunner of CIA. CIA was known by that name, OSS, during the World War and before that, right? So these OSS, they had their branches all over the Asia. Okay, because America had long dreamed of setting up colonies in the Asian countries. Okay, but it's obvious, like due to the geographical distances, and also the demography here, and the languages, several languages, they face basically a barrier in setting up this colony here. So what they basically tried is to capture the business. Okay, and through the several companies, they tried to put their foot on the Asian countries, especially in the British territories, because it was, since they had been an ally, so it was quite easier for them to communicate with the British and get hold of the colonies here, right? Even OSS had their branch in Calcutta. Okay, and also like in the eastern part of India. Okay, I mean, what we know today as Bangladesh, it was the East Bengal by that time, right? So it was part of the Bengal presidency. So in those places, okay, they had their secret agents. OSS had their secret agents. So they were there in the Northwest Frontier province. As we all know, if we see the map, Indian map by that time, the Northwest Frontier provinces, okay, mostly those were the in that area. So they were actually never being colonized by the British. Okay, the British couldn't colonize them. Okay, because of the guerrilla warfare techniques that they had operated in those hilly areas. Okay, so Subhash Chandra Bose studied the entire uh, political and geographical structure of India quite well. Okay, during his political the time he was a political leader in India, right? And if you compare with the other contemporary Indian nationalist leaders, okay, this nationalist term, I use this word nationalist because just because it was part of National Congress. Okay, so if you see like those leaders, they were not that much a visionary. There were so many good leaders, in fact, for sure. But the way Subhash Chandra Bose has visualized the future, the upcoming future days, okay, so they were not like that. So, see, Subhash Chandra Bose had got only twice he had got the national platform, okay. In 1938, he got he became the president, and in 1939, in spite of the tussles going on inside the Congress, he owned the election, right? So these 2 years. But if you compare with Pandit Nehru or any other people who were very close to Mahatma Gandhi, they had got like uh, good exposure all over India and for so many years. Okay, but Subhash Chandra Bose, if you go through the newspapers of that time, you'll get the idea like it's only after 1935, not even 35, 1937. After that, only people started talking about Subhash Chandra Bose as a nationalist leader. Okay. So, but how this infrastructure Subhash Chandra Bose had built, I mean, in a very short time. So actually, nothing comes up in a very short time. Okay, it's always a kind of perseverance that you can say, what we say like sadhana, right? So politics is all about perseverance, and it's I'd not use the term as gamble, but it's something like you give away all you have without having the expectation to success. Okay, it's about sacrificing yourself towards the motherland, right? The politics was in such a mode by that time. Okay, so the infrastructure that Subhash Chandra Bose has built up, okay, by that time, he actually didn't build up anything from scratch. Okay, there were several platforms that were failing for decades. Okay, failing. They were thriving for success, but ultimately nothing could come up. Okay, in 1920s, when Subhash Chandra Bose was in the Swarajya Party, he along with Deshbandhu, he started using this political platform, National Congress, as a reservoir of resources, okay, for the revolutionary movement. So if you see by that time, Congress was there were so many newspapers, journals that Deshbandhu was publishing by that time. Okay, he was giving all the money, and those money were coming from the administrative circles. There were some administrative powers that Congress had enjoyed by that time after 1935. So using that only, they were providing those money and resources for the and like to save the revolutionary movement. Okay, so all the revolutionaries by that time, Purna Das, Amarendranath Chattopadhyay here in Calcutta, even Sachindranath Sannal also. Okay, they were getting inputs, and in some cases they were part of National Congress. Okay, so this structure actually helped a lot. And Sachin Channal, as we all know, like he established the branch of Anushilan Samiti. in the United Province, right? And there were later on he proceeded with the Young Men's Association, right? So police, the British administration, they tried to forfeit all the money and all the resources that they had, but ultimately it survived. It only survived because it was using a camouflage under the National Congress. So this was something that Subhash Chandra Bose had vision. It's not only Subhash Chandra Bose; there were many other leaders also having this idea. Okay, but what Subhash Chandra Bose was actually succeeded in, like there were international platforms also where several Indian revolutionaries were trying to make up something for the Indian freedom struggle. Okay, what Subhash Chandra Bose actually succeeded, he built up a connection. Okay, he established the connection between all these platforms. Okay, so I'll come back to the AIM organization. Okay. So OSS provided this name, AIM organization. This AIM stands for Mazzota, Orlando Mazzota. That was the Italian passport Subhash Chandra Bose was carrying. So why they had named after Mazzota only? Because if you closely look into the Great Escape, how Subhash Chandra Bose escaped from Calcutta, it was only after 27th of January 1941 when the British administration and British police, the intelligence organizations actually got the news that Subhash Chandra Bose has escaped from his Calcutta residence. Okay, why? Because like since 16th to 27th, this 11 days, he was actually having to get outside of India, if not outside India, at least to the northwest frontier province, where the British didn't have that much of administrative control in the Waziristan agency and other northwest provinces, right? These 11 days he actually had. Okay, why it was 27, and he knew like it was 27 the ultimate deadline because Subhash Chandra Bose was having two legal cases pending in the High Court here in Calcutta. Okay, and he had to appear by 27th January. So he knew like when on the morning 27th of January, the legal proceedings will start and people will start asking for like where he had gone. Okay, and by that time only people will start asking about him. So he needed only those 11 days. Okay, and in these 11 days he actually reached Peshawar. If you go through Bhagat Ram Talwar's autobiography, the Talwars of the Pathan land. Okay, it's all about his journey and how he stayed. It's not only about Subhash Chandra Bose. It was also about his revolutionary past and how his brother died inside the jail. Okay, for the torture he had faced. So, but the way Bhagat Ram Talwar helped Subhas Bose to get out of India and to reach Russia, and from there he took the transit visa to through Italy to Berlin. Okay, so by 27th he was actually almost to the northwest provinces. Okay, in a safe zone. And OSS later on came to know about this passport, Orlando Mazzota, and they knew like something fishy was there inside this passport. Okay, and so that's why they provided this name as AIM organization or naming after Orlando Mazzota. And what they are saying there in their intelligence file, it's all about the German activities during the World War. What they are saying, like this organization is a very strange organization. It's not just only like they are not having any names; they are also not having any, not having all the members permanent. Okay, so what does it mean? It means like in somewhere in some places, if you need to do some job, you just hire someone who might be having some he might be a smuggler, he might be a drug lord. It hardly matters in intelligence warfare, right? You just need to do your job. So they were just providing the adequate money needed for that operation, and like they were just going off. Okay, so that's why that was the primary reason that the American intelligence and also the British intelligence was not able to capture those places, because if you even capture that agent, he was not actually the agent of M organization. He was just like some criminal working there, right? But this headless organization, I mean, we all know about the Guy Fawkes mask, right? The anonymous group, the hackers organization today. It is often called as the headless organization. But Subhash Chandra Bose actually created a headless organization during the World War, and this was the AIM organization. But the AIM organization definitely had some members who were permanent members, like Shwataranjan Bakshi. So when the last time when Subhash Bose left, before Subhash Bose left Calcutta, there is an address 17A Priyanath Malik Road in Calcutta. It's still there. Okay, we had gone to that place, and that house still exists here. So Shattaranjan Bakshi was his long time, as you can say, like compatriot. Okay, and but it was in the night, the dead of night, when camouflaged Subhash Chandra Bose came out of his Elgin Road residence and went to that house and met Shatranjan Bakshi, and his last words were, Bakshi, don't leave this residence, because whenever I am capable of, I'll definitely contact with you at this residence only. Why? Because the organization was still running, and you cannot send a telegram or use some kind of the British administrative apparatus, okay, for your communication when you are a part of an intelligence organization. So it was always like some piece of paper, somebody sending somewhere, and the organization keeps on running. So it's this was the pattern of this of that organization. Okay, that's why he said, like, Bakshi, just be in this place. And even after, if we call like as 15th August 1947 the independence, even after that Bakshi didn't leave that residence. And even Pandit Nehru asked him to come to Delhi and like take some administrative places in free India. But Bakshi said, no, my leader will be back, so I'll not be leaving this residence. Someday he might come. Bakshi died in 1983. So not only Shatranjan Bakshi, there were some other leaders also who were part of the same organization inside India. And you just think about the time. It was 1942, and the British here already banned Forward Bloc, Subhash Chandra Bose's party, and they said, like, this Forward Bloc is working as a revolutionary touch point. They are connecting the dots in several places wherever there is some unrest. Forward Bloc is working to build up the protest against the British. So that's why they banned Forward Bloc. And out of there, like Harendranath and Leela Rai, Sunil Das, Anil Rai, those were a long time Subhash Bose's, I'll not say followers. They just worked hand in hand to build up the revolution, the failed revolution. And so all of those people, they were part of an organization called INRC. It stands for Indian National Revolutionary Committee. Since Forward Bloc was banned, so this was an organization formed under Congress, and people were attaching to this. Okay, so when I say it's Congress, okay, it's not the AICC party line that was being followed. So about I mentioned the name of Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, the famous socialist leader who challenged Pandit Nehru, in democratic India. So Dr. Lohia was also part of this. Okay, why he was part of this? Because in 1937, Dr. Lohia played a important role to free the prisoners. Even like Sachindranath Sannal also was freed by that time. So and how he played this role, he connected with France. We all know, right? Great Britain and France were allies there in Europe in politics. So Dr. Lohia pressurized in the British Parliament through France that the political prisoners should be set free. The state prisoners should be set free. So, I mean, and he did that under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose, because in 1938, we all know, like, Subhash Chandra Bose got the president of Indian National Congress. So, and there are several letters also you will find in today in the Netaji Research Bureau, you will find those letters, Dr. Ramana Lohia connecting with Subhash Chandra Bose, their relation. Okay. So Dr. Lohia played a pivotal role in INRC, and that was the primary reason he was beaten up so badly that even later on, when he used to deliver his speeches, I came to know there was some bleeding from his nose and ears. Okay, so he played a pivotal role in M organization. If you go to the Northwest Frontier Province, there we had the Fakir of PP. We all know his name, um, Hajrat Ali Mirza. Okay, so I mean, Fakir of EP was there. There were the Kirti Kisan Party. There were Mia Akbar Shah. There was Mia Akbar Shah from Forward Bloc. So all these men, they gathered to help Subhash Chandra Bose, and they were all part of AIM organization. It's not me. I'm not speculating anything. You will find that in the intelligence file that OSS had left. You'll find it in the CIA archive. It's open. So, and apart from that, there are some other British files also, and based on those files, I had written this book, AIM organization, and as much I know, I'm the first person who had cracked this AIM organization in India, because probably I have never found this name in any of the books written by Subhash Chandra Bose till date. This was all about the Western part, and in Europe also, the way AIM organization worked, it was even they worked with Avware. We all know, like, Avware, Hermann Goering and his organization. It was banned after Second World War, after the Nuremberg trial. But it's a fact that Subhash Chandra Bose had joined hands with Hitler. So when you join hands with the British enemy to get rid of the British rule, there is no harm in that, to declare that, right? And I mean, he was quite clear in his standpoint. He was out and out a socialist leader, and he dreamed of Indian socialism. And the revolutionaries who came in touch under Subhash Chandra Bose, they used to call this political ideology as Subhash Bad, and it's written in their memoirs, in their several books as about Subhash Bad. Now, the pattern of the way AIM organization was working, they actually copied many strategies from the British, because they didn't have that much of time to build something of their own. So what they did, they studied hard all the intelligence organizations, the way it worked, and it actually helped. Subhash Chandra Bose had a couple of international trips to Europe, right? So by that time, he gathered all those information. He connected with Mussolini, and he gathered all those information how these intelligence organizations are working. So he took the best part of everyone. Okay, so that's how the strategy of AIM organization was derived. So in the eastern part, I'd go to the what we today know as East Bengal, right? So in East Bengal, I mean, it's like a interesting story. It's something like a Bond movie. Okay, so there was a company, UN Das and Company. So this company had a particular signboard. Okay, and all those the agents of AIM organization, where they built up their meeting places, right? All those houses were having this nameplate of UN Das Company. Okay, and if that place was quite risky, if that place was exposed to the British, what they used to do, they just like uh, moved the signboard of AIM organization upside down. Okay, so it actually mean to the agents, like, this place is exposed, and so be at your own risk. Okay. So, and you see, Chittagong, Sylhet, there are several addresses. Actually, I'm writing a book about Subhash Chandra Bose's Great Escape, and in that book, I'd like to show my readers like the Great Escape is not just about from Calcutta to Berlin. It's actually about Calcutta to Berlin, and then from Berlin to Japan, and from Japan to India. Okay, and this entire route Subhash Chandra Bose had dreamed of. It's not about dreaming, it's about plans and strategy. So he had strategized those things before he left Calcutta. And there were several Nazi agents in Calcutta, even in entire India, there were Nazi parties. Okay, I quote this word, Hitler's NSDAP, the Nazi party. It actually was inside India. There are several centers where Hitler's party was operating. Okay, of course, it was not by you'll just go to a house and you'll find a nameplate like NSDAP for the Nazi party. Okay, but it was having some camouflage. It was having camouflage of several companies, several German investments. In some cases, it was not German investment. It was even British investment. Okay, just to I mean to be the camouflage appropriate. So that's how the centers were working, and it was quite easy to connect with them. I think you know about Savitri Devi. Savitri Devi, she was a Greek woman, and she used to stay here in Calcutta, Dharmotala Street. There, she had her residence, and she was married to a Bengali, Ashit Mukherjee. This Ashit Mukherjee, he had contacts with Japan and Germany quite well. And when I say it's contact, it's not about having contact with some leader. It was to the top hierarchy. He was having contacts, and in some cases there are several intelligence files. You will find Sharat Chandra Bose using Ashit Mukherjee's contact. Okay, he's sending some delegation from India and keeping up those contacts. Okay, so all these actually helped in AIM organization. That's why when I started, I said like it's not an isolated incident. It's not just about a leader like out of nowhere coming out like as a superhero. It's all about perseverance, and it took much time to to characterize this organization as AIM organization. And I mean what I believe. Okay, and of course my belief is not just about nothing. I mean the way the pattern that I have noticed of this organization, I think even after 1947, this organization was quite operational inside India, at least till 1950, when we got like our Prajatantra Divas, right, 26th of Jan. So, what's the difference between 1947 and 1950? It's not about a civil life; it's about the military. The British had control, complete control on our military till 1950, and even after 1950, it's not like we have been freed quite well from the British, because we all are still part of the Commonwealth, right? So there are some control, there are some big shots, and it's something on top of our head might be, but yeah, there are some clauses by which we are still bound. So this M organization was operating after 1947 until which year, that I don't know. And history is all about hunting, and we are still hunting about the facts. It doesn't matter at all like whether Subhash was died or not. What matters the most that Subhash Chandra Bose was active after 1947. That's all I have. Uh,
Thank you. Thank,
yeah.
thank you, Saketji. And so thank you for enlightening us. So let us go to our audience if they have any questions to ask. So I will request our audience to kindly raise their hands. They can even write their questions in the chat box. I will be taking the questions on behalf of them, or you can directly ask to Saket ji, our speaker. by turning your videos on, or even if you don't turn your videos on, it's okay. Okay, so there is one question which came in the chat box. Subhash
Yeah.
Wad, please elaborate.
Oh yeah, sure. Um, it was in 1933 when there was a conference in Britain, Great Britain, and there there were several discussions going on the uh, political theories about it. So by that time, Subhash Chandra Bose, he put up a theory of Bharatiya Samyavad. So he was not allowed. He was not having the permission to visit Britain. So, but his theory was placed there by Sakat Lal, I think, yeah, from the British Communist Party. So he actually differed from communism. He differed from the Western socialism, and he had his own ideas where there were place for religion. By religion, it's not about the difference of religions, whether Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, not like that. It's all about the spiritualism, the place of spiritualism in administration. And that also, it's not about the state religion. He was not promoting state religion. So he was he had his spiritual ideas. He had his there was the term called um, the municipal rule. Okay, he was very much impressed with the municipal rule of Italy. As I said, like if something is good, you need to admire it, and things that are bad, you need to say straightforward. Like Mussolini had run up a corporate state, and there is no harm in telling like it was not good for the people. But the way Mussolini built up the municipal corporation there was something to learn from that. So he always was very open-minded, and this Indian socialism, the way he planned, had it been like it's our bad luck, there are so many people, so many Marxist Leninist university in Soviet, they promoted in like worldwide about Marxism and Leninism. Even there are people calling Stalinism. I don't know what's that thing. Okay, there is no philosophy that I think Stalin has added. So that's a different thing. So, but there are so many people to promote those things. But for Subhash Chandra Bose, nobody cares. Like whether he, even people don't. There are people who don't know about his philosophy. So that's the most bothering because you don't. If you don't know the philosophy, you'll not understand why that man didn't come back. Okay, so he had seen people, his own, his close ones, who had changed their character. Okay, for anything. I mean, it hardly matters. But um, there was a vacuum created, right? So I think the vacuum that was created in India, and maybe it's still having its tentacles in the Indian political system. So it can only revive if we can establish Subhash Chandra Bose's philosophy, and that's Indian socialism. That's Subhash.
Thank you so much, Saketji, for answering the question. So there is a follow-up question from the same guy. So the
Yeah.
follow-up question is ki, was Subhashwad related to Bharatiya Panchayat system as quoted in the Indian Pilgrim? And also another question, the
Yeah,
third question.
that's yeah, please.
What are good books to read on Bose's views and ideologies?
Um, any book, like any article, okay, written by Subhash Chandra Bose. Um, why I say so? Because his Azad Hind magazine, that was the organ of Indian Independence League. Okay, that's most important because Azad Hind spoke about a free state when India was not free. So it was, this magazine was uh, vision. I mean, it had the vision of future India, which we are yet to achieve. Okay, we are still part of the corrupted system that British has entrusted on us. So if we want to go out of it, then we definitely need to know how Azad Hind was operating in the free lands in the Southeast Asia. So any book written by Subhash Chandra Bose, and even like If you have some time, then only you go for my book or any researcher's book, because nobody is correct. Okay, the only person who is correct about his vision, his thoughts, is Subhash Chandra Bose. We can only give our interpretations. We can only give out some facts, and that's obviously. I mean, if you're interested, you will definitely delve into it. But primarily, if you don't read out all the books that Subhash Chandra Bose has written, then I think you'll not get the like momentum. That's what I think.
Okay, so now question from the second person, PK Majumdar ji. So, would request you to tell us about bit about the activities of Subhash Chandra Bose post 1947. So,
Well,
actually, because you said ki Subhash Chandra Bose was active even after 1947, therefore this question popped up.
yeah, we all know just like the hermit there, like who had gone missing after 16th September 1985. He was Subhash Chandra Bose. There is no doubt in that. And even I have written recently a book. It's in Bengali. I have found out in Chandannagar here in Bengal in 1967, Subhash Chandra Bose had come, and it's written by his long time compatriots. Okay, so I mean, in their diaries, in their memoirs, uh, obviously those things are not quite available, but we have found out those facts and have placed that. So there is no doubt that Bhagwanji was Subhash Chandra Bose. It's like it's like proved in several cases.
Okay, so a question from Pankaj ji. What key things did the M organization achieve?
Well, I see M organization was trying to free India from the clutches of British Empire, and they had succeeded in that, because although we are part of a Commonwealth, British are not having that much of control that they were having earlier. So it was obviously okay. I'd mention here about a leaflet. It was circulated by that time by the banned Subhash Chandra Bose's party, Forward Bloc, and it was about a post-revolution. And Subhash Chandra Bose's statements that from Azad Hind Radio, okay, so that he delivered his speeches. There was about a post-revolution. So there it's saying like Subhash Chandra Bose is saying, even if we don't achieve in this phase, we don't achieve the complete freedom. In the second stage, there will be a revolution. I mean, after the freedom that we achieve, okay, if there are some changes to rectify that, we will do again through a revolution, and that's a social revolution. Revolution word doesn't mean like every time you need to throw some bomb and do some changes like that. Revolution can be achieved slowly also. So, and that's what the socialists think of. It's not the communist idea. That's the basic difference between the communists and the socialists. So, I mean that's what Subhash Chandra Bose has thought. Like it will be slowly, gradually, it will take the revolution. But yeah, although in the first half of like they achieved this, that British were driven out of our country, the second half really failed, and that failed for the conscience that we don't had. We didn't have that conscience like our leaders. Even Pandit Nehru admitted in his memoir, like. We were not having that much of power to stand another August Revolution. That's what he mentioned. Although he hardly had any part in August Revolution, so that's a different thing. But what he said, like that's why we were hurrying up to get something done, and ultimately, what we achieved a partial revolution, or maybe we can a partial independence, or maybe it's like just a transfer of power.
Okay, so question from Nayan Mood Delavari ji is, was there any connections with Sri Aurobindo Ghosh?
Yeah. That's a nice question. Yeah, as I said, right, in 1967 he came here in Chandannagar, and Arun Chandra Datta. Arun Chandra Datta was the revolutionary who actually like um, you all know, like in 1912, 23rd December, Lord Hardinge was attacked in Delhi, right? That bomb was actually like manufactured here in Chandannagar, and Arun Chandra Datta was involved in the logistics to send the bomb from Chandannagar to Delhi, even to Lahore. There were two bomb wings. Okay, people say it's a Delhi conspiracy case, but it's not. It's actually Delhi Lahore conspiracy case. So that, I mean, that Arun Chandra Datta in 1967, he's quoting in his own diary that Subhash Chandra Bose obviously is not using that name, and he's also giving the clarification. Like instead of Netaji, he used the name Mitaji. In Bengali, Mita means friend. Okay, so he's using the name Mitaj, and he's giving his explanation. Like if I use the if I use this word Mitaji, nobody will suspect anything. Okay. So in 1967, probably the date was 4th June. Okay, I need to check that diary. Don't remember the exact date. So he's saying like Subhash Chandra Bose had come, and we had our time just as we had it earlier. So what is earlier? It was in 1921 when Subhash Chandra Bose went for the first time went to Chandan Nagar. Okay, and he met Arun Chandra Datta, Motilal Rai from Pravartak Ashram there. So in Pravartak Ashram, as you know, like before leaving Calcutta, I mean before going to Pondicherry, Aurobindo was uh, Motilal Rai provided refuge to Aurobindo there in Pravartak Ashram was not formed by that time. He gave refuge to Aurobindo in his own residence, and that room is still there. So in 1967, Subhash Chandra Bose is visiting that place, and he's making a remark like, "Oh, it's again you have brought me before you." So why he's saying this? Because if you go through the writings of Dilip Kumar Rai, Subhash Chandra Bose's friend, bosom friend, as we can see, he was a disciple of Sri Aurobindo. If you go through his writings, you will find like Subhash Chandra Bose in his entire life was having a conflict, like conflict of thoughts about why Sri Aurobindo had left the political arena. And it was like if Aurobindo was there, definitely we could have got free. Even I feel so. If Sri Aurobindo was there, the power, the energy, the charisma that he had, we could have achieved our freedom in the mid of 1920s. So even Subhash Chandra Bose had that thought, okay, and not nation first. That's what he said. That's what he thought of. So that's why even he, at some places, criticized Sri Aurobindo. But again, after that criticism, he had in his mind that Sri Aurobindo was the most intellectual person in the Indian Revolution, and so that's why he he had lots and lots of respect. Yeah, there is a book, Amolendu Guha, I think, the researcher. He's having a great book. It's about the thoughts and about Subhash Chandra Bose and Sri Aurobindo. You need to definitely read. If you go through all these books, then you come to finding facts. Because otherwise, what will happen? Like there will be information lying in bits and pieces in front of you, but you'll not get like you'll not understand like that's something new. Okay, so it's really nice that like you have put up this question, and I have also plans to write book about the political thoughts of Sri Aurobindo and Subhash Chandra Bose.
Thank you so much. And there's one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is from PK Majumdar ji. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Niyogi. If you are talking of Moni Baba, who expired in
No, no, no.
1985, why is the government not accepting it? Even Anita Paf says to bring the ashes from
There are,
Prempuji temple,
I
accepting the
understand.
air crash of 1940. Your comments.
Well, yeah. So regarding Anita Paf, I just tell you some facts. It's not about belief; it's about some facts. 1962, there is a Dutch intelligence file I have read. And in that file it says, by that time in Sholomari, North Bengal, there was a rumor like Subhash Chandra Bose was residing there. Okay, and the Dutch intelligence, they like established their base there and closely watched the affair. Okay, and then they've placed a remark like the differences between Sholomari Baba and Subhash Chandra Bose. There they say like Sholmani Baba was a married man from Sylhet, and Subhash Chandra Bose was unmarried. So I'll just tell you about facts. I'll not place my opinion, but obviously my opinion is based on the facts that I have come up with. And if someday fact changes, my opinion will also definitely change. And it's no harm. Like nobody here is master, jack of all trades. Okay, so we all are struggling, we all are hunting for facts. But as of now, I have two three facts in front of there is a OSS file also where about Emily Schenkel, and it's telling like Emily Schenkel as Miss, it's quoting her as Miss, and it was a file of 1944. So you quite well you can understand, like and there is another document regarding his marriage. um See, there are several news reports, but I'll not tell about the news reports. Somebody might say like it's not authentic, right? There was a Sunmark report of 1949, but I'll not say those things. I'll tell you about the intelligence. Why I'm mostly focusing on the intelligence files, because there are so much of money being spent, okay, for a particular intelligence agent to place him somewhere and to get information. Okay, so there are chances are high like intelligence inputs might not be tampered. So that's why there are many intelligence agencies. Okay, they are having information telling about Subhash Chandra Bose as unmarried. So I have doubt on Anita Bose. And regarding Bhagwanji, letters matched, handwriting matched, 22 page of Dr. Bilal's report. It's several times it has been discussed in media, right? So apart from that, the leaders, the stalwarts of M organization, all of them had contacts with Bhagwanji. There are correspondences. Leela Rai, and like all those, even like Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, his birthplace was Faizabad. It is the same Faizabad where the sannyasi was last time seen. So, so there are so many similarities, and all these things cannot be a coincidence.
So there is another one question from Pankaj ji. Is what was the M organization doing uh, with respect to the forces which led to partition? Did they try to prevent it?
Yeah, definitely. There's a document. There was a Leela Rai, who was one of the leader of INRC, the home front of AIM organization. She had built up a particular organization for East Bengal. Its name is East Bengal Minorities Committee. Okay, and that committee was getting all the reports from East Bengal, the riots, and how Hindus, or as I may say, like the way they things were vandalized at that place, the culture, the heritage, were vandalized. They were taking all the reports and they were sending to the international organizations. Uh, yeah, they couldn't resist. They couldn't succeed because their leader was not there. So failure is nothing. I mean, failure can come at any point, but it's after several failure only the success comes, right? So we can hope like someday there will be Akhand Bharat again. It's not about any political standpoint. Akhand Bharat is something that we all need to achieve. It's not about any political party.
For sure. For sure. So another question is, does Psyche agree with Anuj Chandrachud's theories and conclusions? So he's talking about Anuj Dhar and Chandrachud Bose.
Yeah, yeah, of course,
Uh,
of
so so
course.
Both of them have come to our programs earlier. Last year they came to our program. Uh,
Okay.
so so he's agreeing. The question is, do you agree? So you agree, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. I have some differences at
Hmm.
some places from the ideological aspects and uh, the thoughts, even you can say like from the writings of Bhagwanji that had come up and from his disciples, the political thought they portray they in those writings. There, I might have some difference, but yeah, I mean, anybody can differ. I mean, all you're watching this program, okay, I can like anybody can differ with me at any standpoint, okay, that's about democracy. But
Yeah,
overall, yeah, definitely, Anujda and Chandrachud Ghosh, what they had it's a splendid job that they had done.
for sure. So so since we are running out of time, we will be taking this
Yeah,
last
sure.
question. So one or two
Yeah, sure.
questions we will take, right? So we have enough time to pose the questions. So the first question from our audience is, what were Netaji's thought on Muslim League?
There was no particular thought about Muslims. In
Muslim League,
his writing, what okay, yeah.
Muslim League.
So about Muslims, what he thought of, like Muslims were long term, they were deprived after the Sipai Vidro. Okay, so and they were deprived of the administrative powers, and that's why and Deshbandhu had made Bengal Pact while they were running the corporation here in Calcutta. There are several debates going on Bengal Pact, but I have someday maybe we can discuss about Bengal Pact later. So yeah, definitely he secured more positions for Muslims there because he wanted to avoid the riots. There were frequent riots going on. Okay, so he wanted to make them financially strong enough so that they can and come hand in hand. So there is no issue in that. But Muslim League, any kind of orthodox organization, he had strongly condemned that. Okay, so he had strongly condemned Muslim League. So he tried in 1937. He thought of like India was going to be partitioned again. That's why he tried to get into some alliance. And in Bengal politics also, why he tried to get into the alliance, because he tried to convince Congress that you need to come into alliance politics. You cannot think of like you will be in all the elections you will be winning, right? So only 8 provinces Congress was having by that time, but Pandit Nehru was not willing to. He was not having that much of vision, so that's why he was not willing to come into alliance politics. And Muslim League got benefited for that in East Bengal, where they were not having that much of political power. They ultimately came to power just because of this fallacy from Congress. So yeah, so he and that's why Forward Bloc also joined hands with Muslim League just to because they wanted to break Muslim League. And even there are like I am having Sirajul Chaudhry's book in front of me right now. So he has written. He was like about how Subhash Chandra Bose. He was contemporary, and he written about how Subhash Chandra Bose was breaking Muslim League from inside. I mean, that's why he wanted to get allied with Forward Block.
Thank you so much, Shakirji. And the
Practical
last question
politics.
from my side.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
do you think the efforts of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was undermined after we got the independence from certain group of people, or or is it exaggerated? No, we often say we can often hear people saying that only certain freedom fighters got all these praises, but some were ignored. So do you think Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose got his due after independence?
He never expected for in due, but the problem is like we don't know about what he has done in even what he has done in those 6 years. Because I was just going through an intelligence file there. A group from Netherlands, they wanted to merge with Azad Hind. So now you see how a group from Netherlands during the Second World War, why they were trying to march with Azadin. Okay, so he did many things at many places. Okay, and we simply don't know about this. It's not about the problem of the government, because see, there are so many German documents, all declassified in the German archives. But how many of us know the German? How can we expect like people who know German quite well, those Indian people, and they all will also have the zeal about Subhash Chandra Bose. So what I think at this moment, like it's primarily important to learn the foreign languages. We need to, for 5 years, for 10 years, we need to raise a generation who are like admirers of Subhash Chandra Bose, and they know foreign languages, because lots of files are getting declassified and we are not having that much of resources to go through that. So just forget about what government is doing. Like there are so many things that we can do.
Okay. So, okay, so the last question comes, where this referenced from the Netherlands wanting to merge with INA.
Yeah, I need to check that. I don't remember this moment. I need to check that. I mean, there are
Okay.
there are so many dots, so many missing links. Okay, even I mean, I'm also just going through all those things. I was passionate about the intelligence agencies, the way it worked during the Second World War, and since my college days, I've been going through all those things. So I need to find out that. Yeah.
Okay, so he says, is there any, he asks, is there an exhaustive list of the declassified archives the world over?
No, no, there's, I mean, I have never come up about any such research who has gone through all those things, because things are not like catalogs are not like that. Okay, so you need to go through and find out for your own.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
the
this
person,
research term is not applicable. Netaji research at this term is actually not applicable, what I think, because anybody can come up like any new information. Like no researcher can claim that he knows everything.
okay, so the person asking this question with user ENTEE. So he offers a help. I can help with foreign translators. So if you
Oh, that,
can, the one hearing this, NTG, if you can share your email ID, which I can forward it to
yeah,
Matlab,
we will definitely.
Saket ji, and then
Definitely.
you both can have a conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so he gave me the email ID. I will forward it. Okay, then I will be forwarding it to you. Okay, so since we are running out of time, we need to wrap this session up. So first of all, hello. So since we are running out of time, we need to wrap this session up. First of all, thank you. Thanks a lot, Saikit ji, for coming and enlightening us. And also, I would like to thank our audience for patient listening and for questioning, for putting up questions to in front of Saikit ji. So again, we will meet uh, after a month with some another enlightened speaker who will enlighten us about INA, Subhash Chandra Bose ji, and uh, the unsung heroes of our freedom struggle. So thank you so much. A special thanks to Saikit ji and
Thank you.
and to, uh, to our audience as well. So, धन्यवाद. जय हिंद.